だけど頼りない翼でもきっと飛べるさ
Hello everyone and welcome to Lost in Translationmon special episode 30. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
And this time we've watched the Digimon Adventure Tri Part 3, which is Confessions, English dub, and we're going to talk about it. But first of all, thanks to Joe for sending us his digital copy about a month ago. We obviously didn't cover it as soon as we got it because we had other stuff come up, but we just thought since we're releasing a bunch of episodes in the final week of our holidays, we may as well cover it now. So thanks Joe for that. We really do appreciate it because we're not getting Part 3 on home release until March.
You truly have earned the crest of reliability.
Because it's Joe. Good, I got it.
You Joe evolved.
So first of all, we will talk about the differences because I took note of a lot of differences that I noticed between the original and the English dub. I don't think Jay did.
I took no notes whatsoever, so let's go.
All right. So first of all, I noticed that there's no opening music. Like, there's no It's Digitime Again or Butterfly. There's just like...
There's no time.
There's a title card, but there's no, like, opening that we've had in the previous two movies.
Was it in the original?
Yes, I think so, but I might be wrong. But it definitely was in for the first two parts of Tri. We had It's Digitime Again or Butterfly in the case of the Australian and English release.
Digitime Again is a terrible song.
It's Digitime Again, though.
It's really bad.
It's Digitime Again.
It's, like, embarrassing. It's like they made a new Digirap, but it was worse.
I was just about to ask what you preferred, that or the Digirap, so I guess that answers my question.
The Digirap has charm to it because it's so, like, it's so earnest and silly.
Well, at least they removed it in our version. Or they cut it out and they put Butterfly in instead, and then they used it later on.
That's true. That's good.
Yeah, at the very least. So then when we have Daigo and Maki sort of talking about Mekumon, all I noticed is that Daigo says Mekumon really weirdly.
Yeah, Mekumon.
It's like emphasis on the ku instead of the me. Like, it's a hard ku. It's really
Why
weird.
didn't you tell me about Mekumon? I didn't want to tell you about Mekumon. What about Mekumon?
No, I think Maki
Do you think
also
they're different
can't say
Digimon?
It. I don't know, but all I noticed is that Mako can say it correctly. Like, she says Mekumon, and the other kids say it correctly, but for some reason, and this, I don't know why, this really annoyed me in the opening scene, it was just like Daigo saying Mekumon.
I know, it annoyed me too. I think no one gave that voice actor the correct direction.
And it just felt really strange. So when all the investigators are sort of investigating the school after the festival because Mekumon just killed Leomon in the end of part 2, there's sort of like some silence filling because that's what the dub does best. And it's one kid says to another, "What's going on?" And the kid goes, and he says, "Wow, skillful analysis." And they just added in these sassy background characters that I love. It's up there within the abridged series was, "Hey man, what you doing? Pretending Digimon don't exist? Me too. All right." I don't know why, like, it was almost the same level as that. It was just, it was great.
Every couple of minutes, I swear, I just started to think, I'm getting myself ready for a punchline.
Yeah.
Like, for someone to say something really dumb. Because some of the characters say some really silly things in the English. I referenced it before, but when Joe's like, "Yeah, I think Joe evolved to Ultimate."
That was great. I kind of loved that.
That felt like an abridged line.
Yeah, it did. I kind of loved it, though. Because in the original, he's just saying, yeah, it feels like I evolved to Ultimate as well. But in the dub, it's like, "Oh no, I Joe evolved to Mega." And it's so cute.
Well, there's that line later where Tentamon goes, "When I first met you, Izzy, I didn't know you from Adam. Well, I still don't know who that is." Like, alright, sure, that makes a lot of sense for Tentamon to have said.
Or in part 2, how Tentamon says, "Hey, Izzy, you getting scammed by the Nigerian prince again?"
Again, he's meant to be...
Yeah.
He's meant to be like this super intelligent kid who runs the company. He's like, again though.
Yeah.
I would take over America, and then the world!
Another difference is when Joe walks in and Izzy's like in his room trying to work out the infection. He says, "Looks like a hurricane hit after a typhoon and a tornado." They gave Joe a little bit of sass in this, and I kind of love it.
Really could have gone for it. Looked like a hurricane touched down in here.
Oh.
They could have done that.
But that's the Japanese title.
So?
Good point.
The thing about Digimon now is that because it's for older people, they must know that there's an exposure to the Japanese version. They must know that.
Well,
they're showing you Japanese on phones.
Well, there's a bit later on, which I won't say then because I've got other stuff to say, but there is a bit that makes me think they are assuming that the viewer knows stuff about Japanese humour or Japanese tropes. But we'll get to that in a bit. So Izzy asked for black tea. which I found weird.
It's not oolong tea.
No, but he's given the bottle, and they haven't changed the bottle to say black tea. It still says oolong tea on it. But he asks for black tea.
It doesn't want milk in it. That's what he means.
Yeah, but you can have green tea without milk in it.
Is oolong tea green tea?
No.
Well, it's black tea.
No, but oolong tea is also without milk.
Black's not a type of tea. It's a style, isn't it?
No.
Am I wrong?
Black tea is not oolong tea. Black tea is like English breakfast is black tea.
I don't drink tea.
Black tea is
It's water.
Okay, black tea is kocha, which is like English tea.
Right.
And
All that tea they grow in England.
And ocha is Chinese tea and matcha is Japanese green tea. I could be wrong.
I'm going to have to take your word for it on this one because I don't know tea. I know coffee, and even then, not well.
But black tea is not oolong tea. Also, oolong tea is brown anyway.
Yeah.
But if I went to get a black tea, I would get I would expect to get like an English breakfast or a black tea. Like, I don't know, it's black tea, it's not.
It's just well, here's the thing, right? In the English, when has Izzy ever had an interest in oolong tea?
Never.
Exactly. He loves
tomato.
Potato shakes. So I thought it was like tomato
I wanted
juice.
him to say potato shakes. Potato shakes.
He loves it.
Because, yeah, he loves potato shakes.
It's not a character thing from in the English for him to like oolong tea.
Yeah.
There's no context for that.
And this is where the line of Joe evolving to mega level is.
Yeah.
Which, it made me smile. It's a cute line.
That's true. He doesn't say ultimate, unlike that bit later.
Unlike that bit later. In the original, Joe says that Izzy should shower or the ladies will hate him. In the dub, he says how a shower would help, and Tentomon says, hey, it would help my nose if I had one.
So, is he not complaining then? Is he fine because he doesn't have a nose?
I think he's saying he smells, but I'm not sure how he would notice if he didn't have a nose.
I don't think I get this joke.
To
Is the
be
joke
fair-
he doesn't have a nose?
Yes, that's the joke.
What a punchline.
Also, Izzy smells.
To be fair, Izzy would never have been told that he smells because the only person who's been around doesn't have a nose.
Yes. I guess some of the Digimon have noses.
Yeah, but they've been in a computer.
But Tentomon is also in the computer, and apparently he can smell them despite not having a nose.
Dang, you got me.
And then when all the Digimon come out, I noticed that there's more references to how hungry the Digimon are.
They love food, okay? They love it.
They reference it quite a bit in the original, but I noticed that in the dub there's even more. And they even say that Izzy looks like a bean and cheese burrito. It's my highlight. He does look like a bean and cheese burrito, though.
Does he?
Yeah, the colour of the bean bag, the sleeping bag. So then this is a scene I was mentioning earlier that I kind of want to go into a bit. So it's the scene where Yamato sort of kind of tells Mako off for like disappearing, and like says, "Oh, we're worried about you, and you shouldn't have run off. You should have come to us because we're your friends." And Mimi in the original starts yelling, Tundra, 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 because she's not been in Japan long and she's forgotten that Tsundere, not Tundra. They left this in the dub.
I didn't catch this.
She was just yelling Tundra at him.
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense in the context of it. So what you were saying before about how the Hurricane Touchdown reference, and even though that's a Japanese one, you'd expect like the Western audience to get it because they might know things. I don't think that all people would know about Tsundere. If you're just a casual anime fan, you might not watch Japanese versions, or you might not know that much about anime. But you're watching Digimon because you grew up with it as a kid, and it's good nostalgia, and you're only watching it because of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, not you, but like potentially a person. But you're not really that much into anime besides that. What would you think about this scene?
Honestly, I feel the same way if you're watching this in Japanese, right? Where you're that same fan who went back and you see it. This requires a translator's note no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
This requires a Keikaku means plan moment.
Yes. I think that for memory, I think Crunchyroll might have put that in the subtitles, like a note about what she's saying.
Yeah, and they did. And that's how I remember.
Yeah, it's she's mispronouncing Tsundere. She's saying Tundra.
Well, what's the thing for me, I guess, is at the time I didn't catch what she was saying because I just read, oh, she's calling her a Tsundere. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I picked up. And so my brain's never caught the differences particularly.
Yeah, but it's just really weird. And she mentions in the next scene as well, she says, "You're being a Tundra again." And in both scenes, Matt says, "Are you making up words? Stop making up words."
Like one person could have been like, "Do you mean Tsundere?" And she's like, "Yeah, that one." And then like that would have been it.
Yeah.
And then people could do their own research, and that's fine.
Yeah, but it's just, I'm surprised. I was actually curious to what they would change this to. Like, for example, in the previous part, we had them saying, people in Mimi's class saying, "You're a Jikochu." And the dub had changed that to, "You're a narcissist." And she was still sort of like, what's a narcissist? Like, she was still like, had that confusion of like, what's a jikochu as opposed to what's a narcissist?
I guess the question is what's a tsundere in English? It's such a specific weird term.
Gremlin.
It's not. That's not true. It's not what that means
No,
at all.
you're right. No, I don't know, like, but I felt like they could have come up with anything, but I feel like Tundra, I know, it just seems weird.
It sounds to me like they couldn't figure out how to change Tsundere to something that meant anything, so they just left the line exactly as it was. So the process is probably, here's the precise script translated directly, and now we choose which bits to change.
Right.
And because they couldn't figure out what to do with this one, they just left it.
Well, there are a few lines that are basically word for word the same. Like, they just looked at and said, there's no reason to change this, or we can't make this funnier, we can't improve this. And in some places they actually left in errors, but I guess I'll get to that in the part. But
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I think it's the main error in it, but the Tundra one's pretty strange. It's just strange to me. So then we have the this means I'm infected, doesn't it, scene with Patamon and TK.
I mean,
And this probably hurt more than it did in the original, because Patamon's voice is the same from when I was a kid, and he has the same voice that I grew up with. So to have him like basically say, if anything bad happens, take me out, like kill me, like that, it hits hard. But it also hit hard when I watched it originally. I just felt like it hit harder because of the voice.
Did you enjoy getting to hear it twice?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad.
And it's like, it's a really heartbreaking scene. And
Poor Wingbean.
I mean, at least this time I expected it, so it wasn't as like jarring. But that was a rough scene where he's like attacking TK. Like, what do you think? Did you feels?
I mean, I already had those feelings, I guess. So I don't have a connection with the particular actor. So to me, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. I watched this already. That's what watching these things for the second time always is for me. I can't get surprised the second time. That's why I hate spoilers so much, because you can't be surprised the second time.
See, at least we're watching this like
months later,
like,
so I forgot
years.
it all.
This came out in 2016.
Oh my god!
This was September 2016.
It wasn't years then. It's a year and a quarter.
Yeah, year and a bit.
A year and a third. Something like that.
Like, some people said, hey, why don't you just wait for the English dub of Try to come out? I'm like, no, we wouldn't do, like, that'd be a lot of work, and I don't think Jay would want to watch things twice, like movie length things.
No, I really don't want to watch 3 hours of Digimon.
But also,
it's 50% the content doubled.
I mean, you could just watch it episode by episode as Crunchyroll has them, but there's no way to watch the English release in that way. But also, there was no way to know that we would even get an English release of Try.
I mean, I can still watch it episode by episode, but I'd still be watching twice the amount
Yeah.
of stuff. And what would we do? Cover it 2 episodes at a time?
Also, it's good to cover things as they come out, like Try, for example. So when TK goes to Matt's apartment and is sort of talking to him, and he's saying, oh, who are you fighting with, Matt?
I really that's something I really need to tell you. You're so crap at guitar.
Yeah, he says, I'm worried everyone will find out you're a terrible guitarist. And I went back to watch this scene in the original, and he's saying, I'm worried that your band might break up again.
The original's funnier.
Yeah.
The original's so much funnier because he's gone through like 4 band names in this one series of movies.
Yeah, instead of, I'm worried everyone will find out that you're a terrible guitarist.
A knife of day on the edge of wolves.
World on the edge of the knife.
Jesus. Knife of ramen. Wow, what a strong joke.
That made me get like the prophecy like message thing that's going around on the internet onto some monitors at a control station.
I love when you say a prophecy going around on the internet. That's called a meme.
Yeah, basically, yes. When this meme is being sent out, I mean, I'm not sure if it's a prophecy or like a warning.
Ty looks at his phone. What do you mean I have to sip that cold syrup?
So I noticed that it's kept in Japanese, like they don't change over it, like they wouldn't save us, which I'm noticing happens a lot in Digimon Savers.
They haven't changed it at all in Try.
They've left all the writing in, which I really do like, but they have a voiceover to read this out, and it hits me like right in the nostalgia, because it sounds exactly like Diaboromon when he's saying, Kuramon, meet at the rendezvous point in the Revenge of Diaboromon.
Do you mean the bit where like the guy's on the news and he's talking and they do the big evil voice over him?
Huh?
There's like a dude talking on the news and they do a big evil voice.
I
As
think
though he's speaking and he's been possessed.
Yeah, but it's also going along like over monitors at this control station. Then it like shows up over the news and the internet, and everyone's getting this message.
Yeah.
But it makes no sense that this like it would be vocal.
No, it's a possession. He's a ghost.
Yeah.
It's actually just a Bakumon at the end of the day.
And they need to lose their power by hitting on a helmet/beanie.
Yeah, helmet beanie.
There's another. Also, I have no idea who that voice is meant to be. Even is it Yggdrasil? Is it Genai?
No, it's what's his name? The big bunny.
Oh, Cherubimon.
It's Rubimon, clearly.
I'm pretty sure that's the same voice as well.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure he's just got the voice. He's like the evil voice. It's I might be wrong here, but I think his name is Paul St. Peter. I think maybe, but he does all the voices.
Digidestined, surrender unto me your carrots.
He's just a big hungry bunny. He wants
He's
carrots.
so hungry. Like me.
We get another line from Tentomon, which is sassing Izzy, which is like, Izzy gets like this, well, because he's Izzy.
Because he really wants Mimi to date him and he refuses to ask.
Then there's some people talking in class about the blackout, and someone says, how'd you handle the blackout? And then someone replies, same as I handle everything, bad. And it's a similar voice to Mimi, but it's not Mimi, it's just a general classmate. And then there's another one who says, why couldn't they just given us the time off school? Which is a really good question. Like, everyone knows what Digimon is. Everyone's basically knows, like, how catastrophic Digimon attacks are.
Yes.
And yet they're still going to school.
Well, ask Japan how they deal with emergencies and disasters.
They fix them.
They fix them and then they carry on.
Yeah, but I feel like they shouldn't be going to school in this sort of catastrophic event.
Well, what catastrophic event is happening, actually?
They're getting threats from the Digimans.
A threat's not a catastrophic event. A threat's a threat.
It could be a catastrophic event.
I mean, maybe. But you don't know where it'll be.
Later on, when they're talking to Himekawa, like the Digimon talking to Himekawa, what I noticed is that everyone calls Maki Himekawa in the English version, and it seems really weird because they don't call her Miss Himekawa or anything. They just say Himekawa, which is not really done in the English-speaking world.
Well, excuse me, Princess
I know, it's
Kawa.
just something weird. I mean, Princess River. Hime is princess and Kawa is river. I'm not sure if that's the kanji she's using in her name, but those are the ones that I know.
And when she turns into a dragon and spirited away, that was pretty nuts.
When all the Digimon are saying goodbye to their partners, I'm really glad they actually left in the harmonica playing. Like, Matt's song on the harmonica.
It was nice. I mean, like, it would be a struggle for me to think that at this stage in our lives they would take it out. Yeah, in Adventure, sure, because they have no respect for anything. But
they changed all the music in the English dub originally.
But what I mean is they must understand that it's important to the direction that this is playing in the background. It's how the movie's meant to be constructed. Otherwise, it would just be weird. They must know that.
Yeah.
Because you would think... Because I always imagine, and it's always kind of sounded like it, when they would get the script to the English team, there would be like no back and forth with the Japanese team.
Yes.
Just like, oh no, this is okay, we'll just do what we want with it now. There has to be some back and forth nowadays. There's no way it could operate otherwise. Do you think?
Yeah, no, I see what you mean, but I do like... there's a bit later on, I'm pretty sure... I might be wrong here, but they actually put in a track that was in the English dub originally, like of Digimon Adventure, and it's like that... when something bad's happening, and it's happening... I'm really bad at, like, reciting music, but it's like, it's really dramatic music, and unless I'm completely wrong and it's actually from the original version, but I'm like 80% sure it's from the English dub. And they put that in, and I really did appreciate that, because yes, while it's great that they're using music from the original version and they're not touching the tracks too much, I do appreciate it when they see, unless I'm wrong, seem to be using tracks from the original English dub.
I mean, they had just had them lying around. You don't have to pay music rights for those.
Also, it's like, it's one of the songs that gets my heart going, because like something cool's about to happen, like something's going down, but something cool is going to happen, and they use it later on. So when all the partners are talking, Gomon asks if people can actually see Joe's girlfriend, instead of just asking if she exists.
Has anyone ever seen her? Is she around? He says she lives in Canada. I don't believe that's a real place.
So when the kids are all getting out their crests so they can go to the world, well, not really getting out their crests, but they're going to use their crests, they're told to release the power in their digital crests. And I found that was really interesting wording, because...
They already did that once?
No, but they're not, because they're not physical. Like, they don't actually have the crests anymore.
I really wish they would, like, spend the time in the English, be like, oh, by the way, we get these back because of X, Y, and Z. We totally didn't get rid of them forever in that one season we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Like, just having them talk about, like, oh, they can't find Ken in this version was still like... What is happening? We've been through 5 movies and we still don't know what's happened to them.
I kind of almost expected, and I think I would do this if I was writing the dub, I would make Hikari, or I guess Kari and TK in this say, and I've got no message from Davis or Yoli either.
Yeah, there's no downside to it.
Just reference them. They've only mentioned Ken. Or Cody. I completely forgot Cody even existed.
He doesn't.
So, like, have Kari say, yeah, I've been trying to get in contact with Yoli, because they're Jogras partners. Shouldn't they be really close?
You'd hope so.
Or like, oh no, Davis, like, I've tried to contact Davis to see if he knows where Ken is, or I haven't even been able to get in contact with Cody. Just, like, a quick one line. They've inserted random lines in the dub before. I know they can do it.
I really wish that when they had the screen of all the disappeared Digidestined, that one of them just said, and like, instead of a name, just said the Digidestiny Dingo of Australia.
Oh, God. He's missing too.
Or also Ty looks at his phone and is like, oh, God, the Digidestiny Dingo of Australia is trying to talk to me again.
No.
Why won't he leave me alone?
And the Jedi of Australia, Eucalyptus.
Maybe that's who the final bad guy is.
It's Eucalyptus. Y'all gave me a bad name.
Now that we've gotten pretty much to the end of Savers, there's every possibility this Genai is not Genai, and he is Yggdrasil, but possessed. Because we know that's possible. How weird would it be if the crux of the story was a Savers reference?
Maybe.
How really weird would it be if Masaru showed up?
Well, actually, there is a headcanon for Digimon Savers, and I think actually this is Jeff Nimoy's headcanon. So, like, the main person who works in the English dub. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you knew, because you might not care and it might not held in your brain.
We've only talked about it for years.
Okay, he actually has a headcanon that the digital world in the Savers universe was actually created by Izzy. Like, this is all a simulation.
I don't understand.
Like, Digimon Savers was a simulation that Izzy created.
But that means Masaru doesn't exist.
Yes, I believe.
What a weird thing to assume, because is there any evidence that's based on?
I think Jeff Nimoy just wants to believe that. I think.
Okay.
Because he worked on both seasons.
Sure.
But I could be misremembering that theory, but that's what I've heard. So then my last difference that I've written down for the English dub is that when Jesmon, and this is the one I was mentioning earlier about it, how I think this is the main error in this movie, is when Jesmon and Alphamon show up, Izzy says, "How can they be ultimate levels?" This is the same line as in the original, because in the original, they are ultimate levels. In the dub, they should have changed this to Mega. They are Mega level Digimon. And I feel like Izzy would know that they're Mega level Digimon, and also it would say on his computer, "Oh, this is a Mega level Digimon."
But also remember that Baby and In Training are the same level. We learned that in Savers.
But only in Savers.
That's fine, we learned.
But it's just, I don't know, this was a really weird error for me, because I feel like it's such a... I feel like if you're writing on the dub team staff, like, why would you make this error? Like, this seems like, dub differences 101, the stages, right?
Yeah, it seems like one of those things that it's easy to overlook, because if you are neck deep in Digimon all the time, you know that they are ultimate levels.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends what you're trying to achieve with your translation team.
Yeah.
And what your process is. I don't know how many eyes would run over this, and how many of them would really... Because how many Digimon evolution levels are even mentioned in this episode? Like, how much did they have to get into their head? Okay, no, we changed it for no reason.
I don't think that many evolution levels are mentioned, but...
I don't think so.
Joe says he Joe-evolved to Mega level.
That's true. So they clearly had it in their mind that it was a word they would use.
Yeah, but I felt like this whole movie was going pretty well in terms of differences. Like, there weren't many errors compared to Chapter 2, which I think had a lot of errors. Like, just random ones. Like, Dun Dun is Mekumon speak, but also TK's grandma says it.
That kills me.
Or when there's, like, some weird thing where I think it's between Sora and Kari, and one of them says that they're Tai's sister, but it's actually Sora that says it or something. I can't quite remember, but it's something along those lines. It's in the hot spring.
I have no memory of that.
It's like a weird issue, but I feel like Chapter 2 was full of that.
Oh, it was like they were talking to somebody, and it was clearly that they were referring to... They must have been referring to Sora, because like they were the person in the room at the time.
Yes, but they said your little sister or something.
But like Kari just wasn't there.
Yes, it was something like that. It was in the hot springs. But it was just, there were a lot of those errors in the second chapter, and how Mekumon was changed genders constantly in the second one.
He, she, we don't know.
We don't know either. But in Chapter 3, I feel like there weren't that many errors. Sure, I feel like they could have done something better with the Tundra line.
That's probably one of the most glaring ones, definitely.
But I mean, it's fine if you know what Tsundere is. It still makes sense in context.
No, but you also have to connect that line when she's yelling the word Tundra, which they never say Tsundere, and there's no writing about it. You have to connect that. Oh, she must be mispronouncing a Japanese word.
Yes.
I think that's unlikely. I don't think that's what people would do if they're seeing this by itself.
Yeah, so they'd be saying, okay, Mimi's just weird and calling Matt a Tundra because he's a Tundra, apparently.
The most annoying part about this, though, is that saying that she's making up words assumes that Tundra is not a real word. Yes. And it is.
Yeah, it is.
So who's the idiot now?
The answer's always Matt. Overall thoughts? Do you have any thoughts about Tri Chapter 3? Like, any highlights?
It holds up, is all I can say. It's the same.
I mean, it's still, like, the best movie.
Yeah, I think that what makes it the best is, like, it continues and nothing boring happens and nothing inconsistent happens and everything was good. Like, it's such a weird minor thing to say, which is, oh, the show was decent.
Yeah.
But compared to everything else where there were slow parts or silly parts or things that didn't make sense.
And this is the longest chapter of Tri, I believe.
I remembered this show, I remembered this movie ending with the reveal of Genai, and it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, like, I remember him showing his face and then it cuts.
Yes.
But it doesn't. There's like another 2 minutes afterwards.
Really?
Yes.
What happened?
I honestly don't remember, but I know that because I watched it and he reveals his face and then Maki smiles and then you cut back to the kids and the digital world stuff continues.
Does it?
Yes.
In the original?
No, in this one.
In this one? No, I think it cuts.
No, I can show you right now.
It seemed to be the same for me.
I can show you.
Well, what I noticed is that I feel like Chapter 3 compared to subsequent chapters, especially Chapter 5, had a good amount of Mako in it. Like, it focused on her issues, it focused on her past, it focused on what's going on with her character, it focused on Mekumon.
But it wasn't about her.
Yes, because I feel like it had the fair amount of it. Like, yes, it had references to her father, we saw her at home, we know that how she met Mekumon, and we get her being sad, and we get the characters caring about her, and we get her, saying, oh, Mekumon killed Leomon, and she's being really emotional about that, she's not going to school, she's really upset, but I feel like they don't over-focus on her at all.
No.
They give her as much attention as she needs, and the characters, give her enough attention. Do we know that the characters are nice to her, but it's not, overdone?
They clearly care.
Yes, but I feel like Chapter 5 gave her too much attention, and then that's why we soured on Mako.
Oh my god, it was really painful, and I think the English one is going to kill me. I think I will die. When I die, hold a good funeral, okay?
Okay, I promise.
No Digivices at the funeral, though.
I'll get a Mekumon to sit on your coffin. A Mekumon.
Damn it, I'll die again. I'll roll over my grave and die again.
Something that's sort of like a highlight that I got from the dub was I really do like how they don't remove the Japanese text.
Yeah.
Because why would they? They're in Japan.
Well, because it's impossible for you to read.
Yes, but whenever they have that, they either have a character saying, I've got a text from Mimi. This is what it says.
I know that, but at the same time, that's why they would do it, to make it easier to read.
But
this is the cheaper option of not doing anything.
I know, but I also do actually prefer that, even though it is a cheaper and easier option, but I just prefer it. And whenever they absolutely can't have someone reading it out, they put a translation on it, a little subtitle. And I noticed that maybe once or twice. It was more often a character reading it out or someone announcing it, but it was fine. I found it fine. Even though, yes, it is the easier option rather than going on Microsoft Paint and clearing it out. Thanks, Digimon.
Do little
savers.
lines, little crappy.
Yeah, Digimon Data Squad just really, really like to get rid of the Japanese.
It was very noticeable when Ty looks at the message on Matt's phone and reads it all out, because Matt's already read the message. Why do you have to read it out loud?
Yeah, what they could have done is they could have had the character's voice who's messaging them saying, reading out the content.
Oh yeah, that's a classic, yeah.
Yeah, they do that a lot in other things. I also realised, and this is just something that I guess it's a highlight for me, I love the scene where Sora's telling Mako about Taichi getting Skull Greymon.
Yeah, it's look, bad things have happened in the past and we've gotten over it.
Because it's referencing something that happened, and they don't really... The Abridged series does that.
I love that your basic standard of continuity is they mentioned it.
Yeah, and
it was important.
But it's also meaningful because that does happen. It was a dark evolution. It does relate to Mako's problem.
Well, she didn't have a dark evolution. This is her regular evolution.
No, it's a dark evolution.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's just Hurricane Touchdown, but longer, isn't it?
There's a design for the good version.
No, that's later. But the first evolution right now?
Yeah, there's a design for it.
Oh, okay. Duly noted.
It looks the same, except it's not covered with purple.
That's just the infection.
No, it's also got some other things that are different. It's got these little... I've got the art book I can show you, but it's got these little fluffs around it. These little sort of the soot balls from Spirited Away. They're that, but yellow.
Okay.
They're adorable.
And this is just Hurricane Touchdown, but way longer.
I think it's better.
With the character that it's meant to be focusing on, and his Digimon being evil and being the bad guy.
Yeah, but I think it's better than Hurricane Touchdown.
And then at the end, it's going to have a good evolution and die.
And then come back, apparently.
No.
That's what happened at the end of Hurricane Touchdown.
Did it?
Yeah, the egg shows up, and then the dub has the clip of Wendigomon dancing, and it's dancing to All Star.
Oh yeah, that was
even though
that
clip was actually from the movie, in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, I know, but it's just trash, isn't it? Hurricane Touchdown was awful. It's like a hurricane touchdown in here.
Also, the really touching line of "You're like my family. I couldn't bear it if I infected you" from Patamon, and that whole biting scene is just it hurts.
Yeah, it's just a weird. I always thought that scene where he's just sitting around and he's, "Hey guys, gotta tell you something. Guess I'm infected or anything," but I was told not to tell anyone, and I didn't do a very good job of that, did I? And they all freak out, and he's like, They don't leave, though. They don't move. They're like, oh, I guess, well, it's gonna get us. It'll get us.
Yeah. Do you have any highlights?
You just listen back to our original coverage of it for highlights.
What about lowlights? So I don't actually have any lowlights. I enjoy chapter 3. I feel like chapter 3 followed by chapter 2 are probably the best two
Probably.
so far. Hopefully, like you'd want chapter 6 to be like the best one.
Oh, you'd hope so. How long do we have to wait still? 6 months?
Yes, 5 months maybe. I can't remember if it's coming out in May or
June.
maybe July. I don't know. It's somewhere around that time.
July, 7 months. Oh, joy.
It's January.
Yeah, beginning of January.
Did you notice anything that you missed in the first viewing? Because I didn't. I just
No.
And what about things that we noticed now we've seen more of Tri?
I guess they mentioned again. I sort of forgot when they see Jessmon and Alphamon. They go, wait, hold on a second. Shouldn't every Digimon be eggs? How did they get out? How did they get out of here? So there's an implication. There's more to it than that, I guess.
Yeah, well, they said that the first time around, and that's why we thought it was X evolution.
You asked what I missed.
Yeah.
Or what I forgot, I guess. It was a year and a half ago.
Something that I noticed is that when we see Homeostasis come up as Hikari, and she's walking around, she walks up to the Digimon,
Yes.
and Maki's there.
Yes.
And Maki sees her.
Yes.
And she has like this really, like this reaction, like this shock or this horror.
Because she knows who she is.
Yes, because she was homeostasis, and we didn't know. It's like she has been possessed by homeostasis in the past,
I guess that would explain how she knows what homeostasis is.
and we didn't like know this yet because you don't know that until the opening to chapter 4, where we get the flashback, and she's being taken over by homeostasis, and homeostasis is all like, "I am the one that requires, like, that desires stability. I am the one that holds everything together," because she's homeostasis.
That is the worst description of, like, what homeostasis is. Oh, you know what? What defines me? I want harmony. You know what? Everyone wants harmony, honestly. That doesn't make you a god.
It just makes you kind of there.
But I want things to be balanced. Yeah, so does Goku.
Any other final thoughts?
No, I'm tapped out. Again, listen to our original coverage of this.
Yeah, like, if you want to hear us talking about this chapter more, we covered it already, like, a year and a bit ago. I think for the most part, our thoughts probably haven't changed that much.
Not at all.
Like, I feel like I enjoyed it. Actually, I probably enjoyed it just as much, which is good because it's watching it for a second time.
I definitely didn't, but I never do watching something for the second time.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was fine, but it is probably the best one. I'm not necessarily looking forward to watching chapter 5 again because that's my least favorite, and that's fine if you like chapter 5.
It's not.
I don't.
It's
I didn't
not
like it.
fine. Get better taste.
I feel like there were some boring parts. I mean, it's interesting to hope that maybe they'll change that and make it better.
How could they? Everyone's just talking directly to Mako the whole time.
Add in jokes, add in sass.
Just like it's the niceness. It's like an insult sandwich. Someone says something nice, and then they insult Mako, and then they say something nice, and they keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's confusing. That'll be great.
All right, so thank you for listening. We hope that was an interesting episode to listen to about the differences and basically the dub coverage. Of course, we'll be covering Chapter 2 once it comes out again on DVD. Well, I'll be covering it with my mother.
Cover it a third time?
Covering it with my mother.
Word to your mother.
Not you, though, because you've already seen it. You wouldn't want to cover it again.
I've already seen it twice.
And it's to celebrate the Australian release. Because
Why would you do an episode for that?
Because it's in February. It's so far away from the... Remember, we covered this months ago. That was like... I feel like it came out in October.
What would you possibly have to say?
I'll with my mother.
This version's on the DVD.
And I was like, ooh.
There are no differences whatsoever.
And then, of course, Chapter 3 is coming out in Australia in March. And we know that Chapter 4, 5, and 6 are all getting theatre releases in America. We're not getting theatre releases, but America is, which is good. We obviously won't be covering the theatre release if we're not getting it, obviously. And
what would we do? The seats were really nice. The crowd was empty. There was no one there but us.
The popcorn was expensive and bad.
I didn't buy it because I'm not stupid enough to buy snacks.
We smuggled in biscuits from Woolies.
Oh boy, did we. And then May ate them all.
Instantly. Unhinged their mouth.
Just a vacuum.
So everything's linked in the description as always.
Sorry, one moment. Imagine.
Okay, Jay's still talking.
Think in your mind what a sleeve of Oreos looks like, and now imagine an Edgemon filled with Oreos.
Like the Edgemon opens up their mouth. And the Oreos just like come like in and like harm.
Now they're just like a big thing of Oreo shape because they didn't even chew them.
Yeah, and there's this, and the Edgemon is now the Oreo packet.
You can't get them back though. That'd be weird.
Well, they're all still like there. Just reach into
They're
the
all wet
Edgemon's mouth.
now.
Yeah, I want kebabs.
Fair enough.
I might get kebabs for dinner.
I'm so hungry.
I have an addiction to kebabs now. Anyway, so yeah, everything's linked in the description. Before I was interrupted by a certain co-host.
I'm sorry. Was it not worthwhile content?
Okay, to be fair, it was worthwhile content. It's like knock knock. Who's there? Interrupting rabbit. Interrupting meh.
That was awful. Why didn't you just say knock knock and wait for me to answer?
Because I don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for
We
that.
We still have another podcast episode to record right after this.
That's unfortunate.
We have to watch the content and then we have to record the podcast
Three
right after
more
this.
hours. 3 more hours.
That's optimistic.
How long is the stage play?
I don't know. I hope it's not an hour.
3 more hours. 3 more hours.
So yes, our Redbubble's linked in the description. You can get more than just shirts, help support the show. You can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on SoundCloud. You can follow us on @TranslationMon on Twitter, and you can find us on LostinTranslationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a Scrum thread on With the Will and a red thread in the Digimon subreddit, and we would appreciate if you were to review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any other podcast listening app that you use. Ratings really assist people finding out about the podcast. We also have a website, and you can vote in our weekly polls, check out our release schedule, and check out our blog posts. You can also donate to our Patreon with link in the description from as little as $1 a month. And that gets you access to our listener Slack chat group. There are higher levels with more rewards, such as notes, early episodes, and more.
And thank you to our current Patreon supporters, Sam Krieger, who has a podcast with Stevie called The Moncast, Stevie, who is also Stevie Patamon on Tumblr and is currently taking commissions there, Wuchinglong, who you can find at twitch.tv/Wuchinglong, Metal Mamemon, Joe, Anime Guy, who is Anime Guy Kurosaki and the number 1 on YouTube, Chuckmon, Hiro Alato, who is at Hiro Alato on Twitter, Jason Morosky, Ryuchi, who is Frost Magic on Archive of Our Own and on inkit.com/Ryden Allen, Stephen Reeves, who's at Wildling64 on Twitter, Kaidawashi, Mac, Noam, Riku, Chisai, who you can follow at Chisai236 on Tumblr, Kyle, the Lady Bugman, whose anime blog you can find at baguburagu.wordpress.com, Glitchgoat, Azra McCool, Gene Hackmon, who hosts New World Sonata, which is a sci-fi and fantasy audio drama podcast, Matthew, Anthony, who's at AntoClassic on Twitter, Lizmet, who's a Lekmon on Tumblr, Sithobi, Ellie Vorg, who is Ellie Vorg on Tumblr, Sporky McForkinspoon, who hosts a Digimon podcast called Going Digital, Megan, Kyliak, Neobu, The Time Optimist, Silverhead Freak 25, Harvey, Alex, Nicholas, and Thunder.
You can also make a one-off donation on our PayPal, which can be found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/Ergemon. Make sure to let us know for the podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.